9 goals, 9 in a Champions League semi-final between two of the best teams on the planet. And yet, Manuel Neuer, one of the greatest goalkeepers in football history, doesn't make a single save all night. Not one. That's the story of this match. Not the goals, not the comebacks, not the carnival atmosphere in Paris. It's the goalkeeper who stood between the posts for 90 minutes and stopped absolutely nothing. But here's the thing. By the time this match is over, nobody's even mad about it. Because what just happened at the Parc des Princes is the kind of football that makes you forget you have work in the morning. And that's not even the most absurd part. The most absurd part is this: Bayern actually take the lead in Paris against the European champions. Harry Kane steps up from the penalty spot in the 17th minute and absolutely buries it. Classic Kane. Ruthless, clinical, like he's been doing it his whole career. PSG fans are stunned. The away end is going absolutely mental. Bayern 1 up in Paris. Right, sorted, job done. Except it isn't, because Kvaratskhelia, the Georgian, the magician, he doesn't care about Kane. He doesn't care about the occasion. He just equalises. Just like that, 24th minute, 1-1. And now the crowd is alive. Right, so we're level. 1 apiece, normal service resumed. Two giants playing a tight European game. And then, 3rd minute, Joao Neves headers it in. 1-0 becomes 1-2, becomes 2-1 to PSG. Joao Neves, the midfielder, the guy who's supposed to be doing defensive work, heads the ball into the Bayern net. PSG are ahead. But wait, we're only in the 33rd minute and this game has barely started, because then Michael Elise, 41st minute, bursts into the box, wriggles past two defenders like they're made of tissue paper and hammers it past Safonov. 2-2. Bayern are level again. Insane. Now, before we go any further, let's just take a moment. It's the 41st minute. We're still in the first half and we've already had 4 goals, 2 lead changes, a penalty and a midfielder doing diving headers. But we haven't even mentioned the elephant in the room. Vincent Kompany, Bayern's manager, is watching this from the stands. Not the dugout, the stands. He received his 3rd yellow card of the Champions League season against Real Madrid in the quarterfinals. And UEFA said, right mate, you can sit this one out. So one of the biggest games of Bayern's season, and their manager is sitting in the media seats wearing an earpiece, like a football fan who sneaked in with a walkie-talkie. Aaron Danks, the assistant manager, is the one pacing the touchline. Aaron Danks, a man who previously worked at Middlesbrough, managing Bayern Munich in a Champions League semi-final in Paris. No pressure then, Aaron, but there's no time to feel sorry for him, because right at the end of the first half, a cross comes in. Alphonso Davies, the ball hits his hand. VAR checks it. Penalty. Dembele steps up. Ousmane Dembele, the Ballon d'Or winner, he fires it past Neuer. 3-2 to PSG in additional time at the end of the first half. And that whistle goes and every single person in the stadium just looks at each other like, what is happening? Half time, 3-2 to PSG in Paris against Bayern in a Champions League semi-final, 5 goals in 45 minutes. It is the highest scoring first half in Champions League semi-final history. The pundits are struggling, the commentators are struggling, nobody has the vocabulary for this. Somewhere in the Parc des Princes media seats, Vincent Kompany is sitting there trying to figure out how his team have just played 45 minutes of football and conceded 3. Meanwhile, his assistant is in the dressing room at half time trying to find something, anything, to say that makes sense of what just happened. Now, context is important here, because this isn't just any match. This is the defending Champions League holders against one of the most dangerous attacking teams in Europe. Paris Saint-Germain, managed by Luis Enrique, the Spanish tactician who has completely rebuilt this club after the Neymar Mbappe era. Gone are the Galacticos. Gone is the vanity project. What remains is actually rather terrifying. Kvaratskhelia arrived from Napoli. Dembele emerged as the heartbeat of the side. And these two together on this night in Paris are about to do something completely ridiculous. Something that hasn't been seen in a European semi-final ever. 56th minute, the second half has barely started. Hakimi, the right back, plays a low cross into the box. And there's Kvaratskhelia, unmarked, completely free, near post. He fires it in, 4-2. PSG are pulling away, Bayern are getting overrun. And then 3 minutes later, 58th minute, Dembele breaks on the counter. The ball hits the inside of the post. and goes in 5-2, 5-2, 2 goals in 143 seconds, 143 seconds. Kvaratskhelia and Dembele have each scored twice tonight. The Parc des Princes is in absolute pandemonium. The PSG fans are singing, dancing, losing their minds. 5-2 in a Champions League semi-final against Bayern Munich. The game looks done, buried, finished. Vincent Kompany, watching from the stands with his earpiece, looks, well, complicated. His Bayern side, who went through the entire Bundesliga season, barely losing, who dismantled Real Madrid in the quarters, are being taken apart. At this moment, nobody in that stadium expects what is about to happen next, because football is cruel, beautiful, and absolutely relentless. And Bayern Munich have 3 goals left in them. 3 goals. 65th minute, Kimmich wins a free kick. He whips it in. Dayot Upamecano rises above everyone and diverts it into the back of the net. 5-3. And the away end explodes. Bayern down 3 goals. Just won't lie down. They are refusing to accept this. And then, and this is the goal of the night, 68th minute. Harry Kane, deep in his own half, receives the ball near the centre circle. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't hold it up. He plays this sublime long ball over the PSG defence. Perfectly weighted, perfectly timed. Luis Diaz sprints onto it, controls it with one touch, cuts onto his right and bends it into the far corner. 5-4. The PSG fans can't believe it. 3 minutes, 2 goals. Bayern are alive. 5-4. The scoreline that nobody asked for and everybody needed. There are over 20 minutes left. The final whistle feels like it could be decades away. PSG are wobbling after looking completely in control at 5-2. They've suddenly let Bayern back in. 3 goals conceded in under 10 minutes, the very definition of switching off. And up in the stands, Vincent Kompany, who has been pacing around in his seat like a man who sat on a cactus, is suddenly, for the first time all evening, seeing a way through this. 5-4. 1 goal away from parity, still alive. And Bayern absolutely go for it. Tah has a header saved. The Allianz Arena faithful watching on TV are chewing through their sofas. Jonathan Tah, the centre-back, is now essentially an extra striker. Bayern are throwing everyone forward. And then Seni Mayulu, just come on as a substitute for PSG, bursts into the box with real intent and smashes a shot from the left side off the post.
Oh my
off
God!
the post. The ball rattles the frame of the goal and bounces back out to safety. Every single PSG fan in the ground clutches their chest. Their heart has collectively left the building. The final whistle blows. 5-4 to PSG. And for a moment, nobody knows how to feel. The PSG players are celebrating, but you can see it on their faces. The slight discomfort, the quiet realisation that they were 3 goals up and somehow nearly threw it away. In the post-match, Dembele, who was named man of the match, says it plainly. They got a bit comfortable at 5-2, started playing a bit too relaxed, stopped pushing, and Bayern sensed it like any great team would. Dembele also says this, quote, "We're not going to change our philosophy, we're going to attack, and they're going to attack too." For the second leg in Munich, he is essentially issuing a warning. Meanwhile, in the stands, Vincent Kompany delivers what might be the most impressive piece of spin you will ever hear from a football manager. His team have just lost 5-4 in a Champions League semi-final, conceded 5 goals in Paris without their manager on the touchline.
Oh my
and he
God!
says, quote, "Normally when you concede 5 goals in a semi-final, you're out, but we scored 4 and could have added more. At 5-2 it would have been difficult, but now it's basically 1-0. Basically 1-0. He has reframed a 5-4 away defeat as essentially a draw, as basically level. The man could sell ice to a penguin, and he's not entirely wrong, because this is just the first leg. PSG go into the Allianz Arena with a 1-goal advantage. Bayern only need to win by a single goal to level on aggregate, and Bayern this season have been nearly unstoppable at home. They've already knocked out Real Madrid. They've already proven they can beat anyone, and Kompany will be back on the touchline. No ban, no earpiece, no watching from the media seats. He will be there in Munich with his team, with the crowd behind them. And the atmosphere at the Allianz Arena, the report says it will be crazy. Those are his words, crazy. But let's zoom out for a second, because what happened on April 28th at the Parc des Princes wasn't just a football match, it was a record. The highest scoring semi-final in Champions League history. the first time both teams have scored 4 or more goals in a European semi-final. Manuel Neuer played the full 90 minutes without making a single save, and this 9-goal thriller was only the joint highest scoring European semi-final in history, matched by Rangers' 6-3 loss to Eintracht Frankfurt back in 1960. That is quite the company to be in. The 1960s are back, apparently. The second leg happens on May 6th at the Allianz Arena. Bayern need to win. PSG need to not completely capitulate. Dembele says they'll attack again. Company says the atmosphere will be crazy. Both managers are essentially promising more goals, more chaos, more of this. If 5 goals are scored in the second leg, this will become the highest scoring Champions League knockout tie in history ever. And given what we just witnessed in Paris, genuinely, nothing would surprise anyone. This game has completely rearranged what we thought possible in European football. 9 goals in a semi-final between 2 elite teams, and somehow you still want more.